The Revit Precast tools from IRAD for the precast industry. We have here inside of Revit a small project where we have some foundations, columns and beams. They are not connected together now. We have here some walls, openings and mounting parts. First we go to a structural view where we see only the columns, beams and foundations. Now we select in the left area all the beams and call the command corbel. Now the program creates for each beam a corbel where the beam is touching the column in the correct height. This takes a little bit because the program is not only creating the corbel, it's also converting the columns together with the corbels to assembly and is checking the equality of the columns. We have here the result. We see for the first beam the corbels, for the second one and so on. Then we have here the structural assembly number 18 in this corner also, and in the background it's also number 18. Here on the side they are number 15. If we go here in the project browser down, we see the three assembly types for the columns. Here in the right corner we want to connect the beams with joist hangers. Here the program has created in the beam and in the column the joist hanger here in the beam and the other part in the column. And they are also converted to assemblies. So next thing is to connect the columns with the foundation. Therefore we call the command column shoe. And we see here in the column on the bottom in each corner a column shoe created. And also in the foundation there are 4 bolts created to connect the column with the foundation on the working side. Now we reinforce the foundation. Therefore we call the command foundation reinforcement, and we see here the reinforcement for the foundation. Now we select these 4 columns and call the command column reinforcement. Here we have different types. We choose the second one and create the reinforcement for these columns. And the reinforcement is also attached to the column assembly. So now in the left part of the building we select all the columns together with the foundation and call the command column reinforcement. Now the program creates also for the foundation a reinforcement and connects the foundation and the column together to one part, which is produced in the factory at once. So we see here this is now one assembly with the corbels and the foundation together and with a special reinforcement. The next step is the creation of reinforcement for the corbels. Therefore we select all the objects and call the command corbel reinforcement. So we see now here for each corbel the reinforcement created. The last step is the creation of reinforcement for the beams. Therefore we select all the beams and start the command create beam reinforcement. So we have now all the parts reinforced and created for all parts the assemblies. Now we go to the walls, and the first thing what we are doing is the creation of reinforcement for openings. We call this command, and the program creates now for each opening a reinforcement on the side. So we see now here for each opening 2 bars on each side created. The next step is the segmentation. Therefore we select all the walls and call the command segmentation. The program now divides the wall into parts with predefined rules for like the maximum wall length, the maximum weight, and converts these parts then into assemblies. So we have now here the assembly 1 and the next one, and you see here this is assembly number 14, and in the second story is also number 14, so the system has also recognized the same assemblies. Here on this wall we see also that all the mounting parts and the reinforcement which is in one part will also be added to the assembly. So the next command is the creation of reinforcement for wall panels. Therefore we select some walls and call the command wall reinforcement, and we see here on the inside and on the outside of a wall panel some steel bars. Now we have created many assemblies, and for all of these assemblies we want to create a shop drawing now. Therefore we select all the objects and call the command shop drawings. Now we will get for each assembly a drawing, which we can see here now in the project browser. We go here down and we see the assemblies. The parts are the wall elements. We look here, for example, for the wall number 3. We have here the sheet with some views, and we see here also the reinforcement for this wall panel. And if you go to wall number 16, this was the wall with the insertion parts. You see the window and the reinforcement around the window, and here the insertion parts. Then we have here the columns. We look, for example, for column number 15. We have here the 4 views, 2 side views, a top view with some dimension lines, and the 3D view. Then we have here the foundation with the reinforcement and the 4 bolts, and we have here on the bottom the beam. With this small project we have shown the creation of connection for structural elements, the segmentation of walls, the creation of reinforcement, the conversion of the objects to assemblies, and the automatic creation of the shop drawings. If you have any questions or you want to download the software, please go to our webpage www.idat.de.